Thanks. So, hi everyone, I'm Noah from the ETH Zurich, and I'm here to present you a study that I conducted last year with colleagues from EPFL and the University of Lausanne, and it's about participatory design for wearable activity tracker users' privacy. So, as you may know, there's an increasing number of wearable activity tracker devices worldwide, and there is more and more users, and all those devices are equipped with a lot of different sensors like gyroscope, accelerometers, and so on, and they also collect a lot of data that are either pre-processed by the device or in the smartphone. For example, the step count, heart rate, some activities that are done by the users, and so on. And all those data can be used against the privacy and the will of the users. For example, if an employer may want to find ways to gain more control over their employees, or if a government wants to gain control over the citizen, or even when a big company who owns one of the more used wearable brands is also involved in health-related business. And it happened that there is a lot of ways for the users to share their data, and besides data sharing with friends or on online networks, for example, or with the constructor of the device, users may share the data with third-party apps or TPAs. And TPAs are apps that are not owned by the same company who provide the device, but to which users can share their data to gain some additional functionalities or rewards. And previous studies already shown that a lot of users, for example, underestimate the number of TPAs they are sharing their data with, for example, and also that they are not actively using all of them. So, for example, here we showed last year that one-third of TPA's users indeed don't. Yeah, only one-third of them indeed use all the TPAs that they share their data with. So the idea of this very study I will present you today is basically to conduct a participatory design study to propose some tools to help users in their data sharing process with third-party applications. And the idea here is simply to recruit some participants who are indeed wearable activity tracker users, to put them in a room and ask them to design some solutions. So we basically did that in 3 different steps. First, we asked users to design some solutions during some design sessions. Then we asked them to evaluate their own solutions. After that, we extracted different features from these solutions, and we, as authors and security experts, evaluated these different features and selected the best ones. And after that, we conducted a survey study to validate the results and show that those selected features would be indeed effective into protecting users' privacy. So the first study was the participatory design sessions, and we recruited in total different participants who are indeed users, and we conducted 3 different sessions during which we presented some stuff about data sharing to be sure that everybody is at the same page about their knowledge and how everything is working. And then we asked them to design privacy-enhancing technology to help them during the data sharing process. Afterwards, every solutions were presented in front to all together, and they all ranked the solutions. So after that, we coded all the proposed solutions, and we extracted 7 design categories. Those designs are those ones, and then we graded those ones and selected 3 ones who we considered were the best. So how we selected them were basically because we had a look at the grades provided by the participants and our own grades, and then we selected the solutions that was the best graded. So those 3 solutions are the following. The first one is partial sharing. So this one, here it's an example of a design that was done by the participants, And this partial sharing is about using 3 different types of sharing. The first one is to be able to select a specific time frame during which we can share our data as a wearable activity user. So in the most of the case, it's not possible usually to share your data regarding a specific time frame. For example, if you decide to share your data as a wearable activity tracker users to a third-party application, you have no choice. You can only select the type of data. You can say I want to share my step count or I want to share my heart rate, but it's not possible to share, for example, your step count on Monday morning, or you step count between July 13 and July 21st, for example. That's one of the design proposition. The second proposition is to do the sharing regarding a given context. For example, I may want to share my step count only when I'm running, which may be a nice feature as well. And the third solution we propose here is temporal aggregation, which basically would be to let the user choose a specific granularity to which they want to share their data. For example, they can share their step count for every minute, or aggregated by hours or by days, and so on. That may also increase their privacy. And the second, and all those partial sharing can be used from the adoption, so when people are actually starting sharing with a third-party application, and during the whole adherence phase when they are indeed using these applications. And the second design we propose is basically to implement a reminder. So it's really simple. It's just periodically your phone, for example, that is synchronized with your device, could remind the users, oh, by the way, you are indeed sharing your data with that and that third-party application. Would you like to revoke this access or not? And so on. And these would be used during the whole usage phase of the third-party application. And the third design feature we want to propose regarding the participatory design sessions is something to help the users in the revocation phase of the third-party application. So here, there is 2 different ideas related to that. The first one is basically to automatically remove data access when they are deleting an app from the phone, because most of the time, when users are sharing data with a third-party application, it's something that is done with an API key, and having or not an app installed on the phone will not interact with that. So sometimes if they can, for example, delete an app from their phone and think that the data sharing is revoked, which is not the case. So here, the idea is to implement that during the deletion phase of the app on the phone. And the second related proposition here is to integrate in the app a way to automatically ask the third-party application to remove the user's data from their server according to GDPR regulations. So here's some mockups that we designed from that. And with all those mockups and so on, we decided to conduct a user survey in order to validate those 3 main design features. So we used Prolific, and we recruited 200 participants and asked them to evaluate those 3 different design categories regarding 4 different criteria, which are adoption. So if they think that user may want to use those technologies, effectiveness, how they think that those technologies can indeed help to increase their privacy level, recommendation, if they want to recommend these tools to their friends, for example, or other users, and usability, do they think that it would be easily usable for them? And to do that, we simply show them a survey, describe every features that I just described to you, and show them some mockups. And then we ask them to evaluate that 3 criteria on a 5-level Likert scale, and here's the results. So here's, it's about partial sharing, so the first one, reminder, revocation assistance. And we can see here that the 3 selected features are indeed well evaluated, and especially the third one about revocation assistance, which was really appreciated by the users. So after that survey study, we can say that we want to propose those 3 solutions as a comprehensive solution to help people and help wearable activity tracker users in their data sharing process with TPAs, which are partial sharing that can be implemented directly in the adoption phase, and as well during the adherence phase, where we can also add the reminder who can help the users to be aware of all the third-party applications they share the data with during all the adherence phase. And then at the end, when they want to revoke the access, when then to stop using a given third-party application, we want to propose the revocation assistance, which can help users to revoke their access and remove their data from the third-party application servers. So yeah, thanks for your attention. And if you want to have a look at the paper, there is a QR code here. Questions?
I've got sort of 2 questions, related sort of questions. I think something that's quite interesting is sort of I do quite a bit of sort of legally focused research, and if you take a bit of a legal perspective, partial data sharing I think could be seen as sort of granular consent under data protection law. Reminder could be seen as something like principle of transparency, sort of the need to be informed when you give consent to practice, and maybe revocation. For example, there's guidelines from 10 years back where the European Data Protection Board recommended automatic deletion of data once you delete an app. That's never been implemented, right? So I really wonder about, well, there's the legal things, there's your research suggesting that this would be good, but what is the incentive for service providers, which you say in your paper are the main ones having to implement this? Why would they?
For service providers, so here the revocation and, for example, the request to delete data and so on would be to delete the data that as a user you share to a third-party app. So to me, for the you mean the main structure of the device, I guess. I guess that could be a good incentive for them because they can use that as an argument, to advertise, to say, okay, we implement nice privacy-enhancing tools, and if some service provider may want to put that as an argument to sell their device, they may, for example, gather more customers. That's something that may be interesting. Yeah.
We'll be looking at. Very short. Okay.
Very short. One of those, right?
It's a follow-on. I just wanted to know: have you spoken to anybody from Strava or Fitbit? Or,
no, I didn't.
Right, because I'd love to find out what they think of this.
Yeah, that's something that I guess we discussed that in the paper at some point, but that may be one future work point to investigate at some point. Yeah, to show those solutions to the main device constructor and so on, and to ask them if they think that it may be worth for them to implement them, what amount of effort that would be for them and so on. Yeah, that's something that could be really interesting to do. Yeah, indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.